I'm excited to be back. Zach and I are working our way around the dental practice. And last time we talked about phones, but we're going to take a step backwards and we're going to talk about what happens before the phone. So, Zach, welcome back to another YouTube video of me with me.
Yeah. Yes. Thanks for having me back, Laura. I feel like we're getting to see each other more and more, which I'm loving. It's a ton of fun.
Totally.
Appreciate you
We were
having
just
me.
together in Utah last week at IntelliCon. So, anybody who is considering dental intel or works with dental intel, you should check out IntelliCon. It was a great event.
Yeah.
And I saw you speak there.
Yeah. It was
That,
fun. It was a
that
great
was
event. And
That was
it's
awesome.
actually one of my favorite of the year.
Oh, that's great. Mine is still ADOM at this point. I call
Yeah.
that my Super Bowl. You know what
Yeah.
I think is really great? We could just talk about this, is that there's more and more events that are
hmm
focused on the business side of things and the team. I remember when I went to an event years ago, and when you went to register for the event, it was dentist, hygienist, assistants, and other. So we've moved up from other
we
to
have.
an important part of the practice.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. But on this one, we're gonna talk about marketing, and I know that you have lots of thoughts about this, and what we wanna do in this session is talk about old school, like literally old school marketing and the different things, but then also integrating AI, where we think AI is going with it, where we can use AI to help us. So let's just do old school, Zach. Just give us your overview on your thoughts around marketing, both paid and all the other ones.
Yeah. I mean, so we talk about like paid and free marketing, but really, like in one aspect or another, no matter what type of marketing you're doing, you're paying for. Because whether the doctor's doing it, he's paying in his time. If the front desk team is doing it or your office manager is doing it, you're still paying for the marketing. You're just not paying an agency. And that's just kind of my thought process is no matter what in your practice, you're paying one way or another. Just the volume of the amount of money you're paying really depends on what that strategy looks like. And so like you say we talk old school and one thing that there's a couple companies that are doing really well and utilizing AI is mailers are starting to kind of make a comeback, but they're utilizing AI and scraping Facebook and Instagram and looking where people are at and who's actually active in the areas for events that I've seen some people start to utilize. And then they target their mailers in that aspect, or they look at search engine optimization with their SEO of what people are searching to say this is what you should be marketing for because this is what's most predominant in your area. So I think people have gotten very creative utilizing that tool, but it's kind of like using an old school concept to bring new school technology to reach your patients in that manner, which I think is cool.
I'm gonna
Um,
add just real quick, I'm gonna
yeah.
jump in there. For those old school, when I was a brand new, my husband and I at the time, he was a dentist, we had no money and we were doing mailers and I was like, "Let's how do we save money?" And so I'd get up at like 4 in the morning and go to all of the neighborhood mailboxes and slide the postcard in until I got a nice letter from the postal whoever that was like, "That's illegal. You can't do that." So I was trying to save money, but I didn't know mailers were actually on a comeback or that
Yeah.
so that's a great thing. I mean, maybe they never went anywhere, but, that's
Yeah.
a great thing I hadn't thought of in a while.
Yeah, and I think it's also just the knowledge of what people know, right? Like I've seen mailer companies be active in dentistry for a very long time, but I don't think people really know how to utilize them well, right? Like we always get the same type of mailers. So like how do we approach it in a different aspect? So that kind of goes into what I've done for the last, 4 of the 5 years I've been here, which was more of a sense of community marketing. And so what we found in our community is if you find what your community is interested in or you make a stance for small business and for the schools and provide things that are actually needed, will actually drive a ton of business because the schools will start working for you, the local businesses will start working for you, and it's not just putting a stack of business cards in there in the restaurant or in the teacher lounge, but it's more so how do we do things that create attraction? So for our pediatric side, it becomes a lot of really fun things, right? Because you're trying to attract families and, do events that would get people as a community want to come too. So the first thing that we did was called Big Truck Day. And I don't know if you know what that is or if people that are listening know what it is. Big Truck Day is exactly like it sounds. We invite all the big trucks, semis, tankers, city worker vehicles, fire trucks, police cars, SWAT vehicles, military vehicles, anything we could find said, hey, we're doing a big truck day. You can promote your business. If it's an excavation company, we had them come out with with a big excavator on a big flatbed truck with a semi. We had a monster truck there last year. We had all kinds of stuff. We had SWAT vehicles. We had the Air Force fire trucks. We had all kinds of cool things. And we went into this event saying, hey, we'll just buy you lunch, but you can also promote what you're doing. You know, the city loves to promote what they have as their emergency services. And so it's more of like, hey, we know it's a servant thing. We'll buy you free lunch, you know, and we do as much as we can to promote you and what you're doing. And we're like, fingers crossed that this works. We did it for the first time last year. We had over 10,000 people show up in our community. 10,000,
Wow. So
which
where did
was
you do
in
in the
we did
parking
it
lot?
in front of what's called the Schechter Center here in Satellite Beach, which is a community center. We blocked off the parking lot and on a high flow traffic road. So all these people, we marketed it heavily, but you know, through Facebook and through all the other businesses in the community and through the city also marketed it. But we spent about $1,400 on this entire event. And that's including paying for the food. We didn't spend a lot of money because we utilized the city pushing it out, all the local businesses that were coming in. We found local food trucks that are in our community and said, hey, you or two are going to be the only two food trucks there, and we're going to be buying food from you for the drivers. So we're supporting them from our business. And then the community comes in, they're hungry, they're all buying from them. And they're like, oh, I need an excavation company. You're already here with an excavator. I need to talk to you about building my house, you know, and getting this property or pool dug out. So people started communicating and people were just driving by and would show up. We had a line around this entire parking lot. The owner of the practice drove by. He goes, I wasn't going to show up. And I saw the mobs of people. We were blown away. There was lines for 8 hours straight to see all the vehicles. And we are all just
That's
blown away. So we
that's
found a
awesome.
need that people enjoy that.
I was gonna say, and I know you, so I can say this, but you're a boy dad. So that
Yes.
seems like a boy dad kind of thing, but it relates to what I tell a lot of times with offices is find things. This is up to like how you decorate your practice, the events that you offer. Find
Mhm.
things you are interested in. So you are a boy
Yeah.
dad, so of course
Yeah.
big trucks make sense, right? In our practice, we actually had a car show in our parking lot for 4 years straight because my ex, who's a dentist at the practice, loves cars. And he was like, "If I could just get a bunch of these." And all of our patients had cars in their not all of them,
Yeah.
but they had cars in their
Yeah.
garage, and everybody came out, and it became an event. So, find what you're interested in and get involved with that.
So the city, this is the key point. And when we learned some of these things too, is we went to the city and said, what do you need from us? What are things that you're not able to do because there's no budget? That's the first thing to make your city very excited to work with you is saying, hey, I'll front the bill and come and support you on things that you, oh, we wish we could do this, but they can't fund this anymore. It's like, okay, well, how do we fund it? So another thing that we started doing a couple years ago was movies in the park. So we buy a big screen on Amazon. It's like $150. The city had a projector and PA equipment for all their events. So they said, hey, you can use it for free. And then we buy the licensure rights. So make sure if you do this, get event insurance because it's not on site of your property, or make sure the city can cover the insurance, and also make sure you buy the rights and licensure. There's a website that you can buy it so you can do a public viewing legally. If you don't, it can be a massive, massive legal bill, and that's not very fun to deal with. So make sure, just want to give that tip. It's very, very important to do that. But we buy the license, which is about $400 for the night. They ask what day you're doing on how many people you can expect. And for the last 6 times we've done it, we've had over 250 people show up. We partner with a local restaurant. They bring free pizza or free hot dogs and they promote their business. We have a local lady that has an ice cream truck that she comes to every event. She's the only ice cream truck and she absolutely loves it. So we're partnering with local companies and the community to give a free event for the night. We have restaurants and stores around the area that donate giveaways. And so we do some giveaways before the movie, watch the movie, eat some popcorn. We provide the popcorn from the office. We have teams just popping popcorn all night. But it's a very simple event. And once again, we invest about, $1,500 an event. And what we end up doing is, hey, can we book an appointment? You have a laptop at the event. You can right there, remote in, and you can book appointments right then and there. You don't need any
Wow.
crazy software. You just have a hotspot. You can book appointments, or you give out a little special that says movie in the park. The patient brings it in. You can track those referrals that way. We've seen a massive increase in our patient base. We brought a provider on in July of last year. He already has 2,000 active patients in 12 months. So the
That's
marketing
crazy.
strategies are working.
Yeah, that's great. So if you're listening to this, and this is like old school, I love this because we had at our car shows, our kids, all of the kids of all of our employees did bake sales and they had a little bake
Yeah,
sale and allow them to make money. We've been in the community. Our theme is all classic rock. We have an Elvis in the lobby of our dental office. And so we
that's
dress
awesome.
one of the kids as Elvis and put him in my lifted Jeep, the parade and 4th of July, and the kids got to walk. So it's good for your team building too, as well as
Yes.
for the community. But if we take old school and we put it into what's coming up for us with AI, you can take this to AI and say, help me generate some ideas. Help me know
Mhm.
what kind of licensing I need. So tell me, like,
Yeah.
brainstorming and how leaned into AI to help kind of grow some of these ideas for you.
Yep. Big thing is, how do you schedule ad space on Facebook on your own? Like, you have your office page, you can promote it as a business. You can go into Chat GPT and say, hey, what do I do for the range? How far out should I go on the range, the age, the mileage circle, right? And then also age range, the demographics. It can tell you literally word for word what you can do to get your best results. Also, coming up with site plans, schedules of how to run it. ChatGPT has helped us a ton, or any type of AI engine that says, hey, I'm planning on doing this. What are things that I should look out for? What do people, typically enjoy most about these events? Is it, staying on time? How long should that be? What time of year, depending on the weather? I mean, there's, left and right. I mean, you can ask it any question, which I love, and it will come up with, pretty darn good answer, honestly, most of the time better of what I would have thought of. And, people are like, dang, how did you think of that? And I'm like, it was AI, but it's like we're utilizing these tools. It's a tool in our tool belt. Let's use that tool and let's figure out how to maximize this event because, our patients, when they come to something that's well run and they haven't been to our practice, what do you think they're going to think after they went to that event? If they put this big event on, then they're going to be awesome with my kids, right? Like you're setting that first image prospect for them in such a great manner that like you're getting that interaction right off the bat and you're not having to do all that work to attract a patient. You got them coming in and out, they're dealing with you, you're giving them popcorn, you give them free stuff. And they're like, dang, this is awesome. I wonder what the dental visit's like. But and in the return, you do want to make sure that your team's on point when they come in and your office is clean, it's decorated, well, it's not dilapidated and stained ceiling tiles and, crap on the floor. So you do have to, you have to make sure that it matches what services you're providing in your practice.
For sure, which leads into the next thing, but I just wanna do a little plug. If you're watching this on
Yes.
YouTube, make sure you subscribe because I just did a video about ways to use AI free
Yeah.
to organize your practice, build your team
Yeah.
meetings,
Yeah.
brainstorm ideas. So if you're not in there doing it, go watch that video. So talk to me about that. So, okay, we talk about going out in the community. There's the traditional marketing that you can pay
Mhm.
money to do. But also, you just brought up a big topic, which I don't think a lot of people think about is when they show up to your practice, what they see and how that feeds into the experience. Can you talk more about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, because that's I mean, honestly, Laura, that's all part of your marketing too, right? It's your physical, like they're in the practice until their butts in that chair and they're getting services, you're still marketing to that patient, right? Like we're trying to get them to believe like we are the best. And one is attitude. When they come in, your team needs to have a bright smile, look them in the eyes when you're talking to them. I think those are really big things. But then just also looking at your practice. If somebody is cleaning your office, making sure every one of those corners does not have dirt or garbage in them, especially if you're running a pedo practice, because if they're bringing their kids in, they're going to hyper focus on everything. Your ceiling tile is one of the biggest things I ever learned. I was in a class at ADOM. I'm trying to remember who it was, but they're talking about, all the real estate you have in your practice, which a lot of times is up because you don't realize how much wall space you have. But like when you're walking around, they're like, how often do you look at your ceiling tiles? And I'm like, every day. Like if there's a leak, your ceiling tiles stain with a drop of water. Patients see that and they're like, oh, that's gross. Do you have a rip in any of your dental chairs? Do you have spots on the floor? Do you have stains on the counter? Do you have like, is there rust on any of your stainless in your office? Like you need to be looking at every aspect of it. Are your scrubs clean? Right? Like if you get dirty, like you need to have a backup set of scrubs at the office because you get dirty, or put a jacket on so they don't see it. You don't want to wear bleach scrubs to work because unfortunately that's just the way the world is. And if we're not prepared or look professional, we're not going to build that trust too. So we should be looking top to bottom of, making sure our practice is top tier. Scuffs on the walls, our iteros coming in and out of the rooms, they always inherently rub against the wall and we have a black line. Every couple of weeks, I go in with paintbrush, I paint over it. We're touching things up. It's constant because guess what? If you do that constantly, you're not going to find yourself in 5 years needing to like fully revamp all these things because you've neglected it for that long or accepted like, yeah, that's just the mark from the iTero. Well, it doesn't have to be the mark from the iTero. Let's remove it. Okay, now it's not a talking point, and we can actually talk to the patient about something than them noticing that's dirty or that's broken. We don't like to have anything broken in the practice. Nothing's duct taped together. Fix it the correct way, and come up with a list. If there's a lot of things, do it one thing at a time. And you can even say in AI, all these problems are in my practice. What's the top priority when it comes to image? You could
right?
ask AI that, and it'll tell you what's most important to the eye to somebody, and fix that first.
I also think, I mean, just another thing in AI is how do I fix it? Like sometimes you're just like, my chair is wobbly and it looks
Yeah.
or whatever. It's
Yep.
gonna show you, it's gonna get you a video or something. Another thing in this I was thinking about that you didn't mention that I would add to that is clutter.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
feel like we've got, on our shelves in our operatories behind the front desk, I got
Yeah.
every toothbrush that we sell, every floss, we don't see the clutter unless we put on the lenses of a patient
Yes.
and look
Yep.
at what our office looks like.
Yeah, our countertops are clean. You don't one big thing, I don't know if you're the same way, Laura, and you can tell me if you're not. Do not plaster signs all over your practice. It is tacky, it is ugly, and it doesn't form any type of positive reinforcement of anything. Like it just looks like you either got a bunch of rules or you like to hang crap all over your office. Don't post or tape signs anywhere. Like we don't have any of that unless we're required to hold like our business license, obviously up in an area where it has to be visible, but like we don't have like all these random signs all over the practice. You walk into some and it's like makes you want to throw up because there's something taped to the window top to
I
bottom.
actually just I found a dental office recently where the poster was in the window, and I was sneaking in because I always like to look, they're closed on a weekend, but the poster's in the window, and there's, like, dead flies in the poster on the window, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to that dental office. Those are the things busy with going out. At the point our practice was next to a bar, and we
Hmm.
came in on Monday, and there were, things around in the bushes and stuff, and
Yep.
so we would
Yeah.
take turns putting on gloves and go out and clean up the
Yep.
parking lot because you didn't
Yep.
want that impression for the kids coming in on Monday.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is I make sure our lights all work in our building at night. When patients aren't there and they're driving by, we have a lot of traffic flow, and we're a big statement in our area. Our office is 8,500 square feet. It's huge. You can't miss us, and it's right behind a Walgreens. We share parking lots back up to each other, so it's like we're almost the size of the Walgreens. It seems like the building. It's an old post office, so it's big. Maybe it was my postmaster general that told you couldn't be putting the
Yeah,
mail in.
exactly.
But looking at, is your mailbox falling over? We have a flag that we fly. We fly the American flag, and we replace it every 3 to 4 weeks because it starts to get tattered. We make sure our landscaping is always up to par. If a plant dies, we replace it. And those are just little things that if you have that attention to details, patients will start to recognize like, oh, that plant was dead last time. They've already replaced it. Like we going out, and if somebody's left trash, not my trash, but I don't want patients seeing it. So we'll go out, pick it up. We close our dumpster gates. I mean, the dumpster trash people, every time they leave it open, I'm like, so we built nice doors that cover it so our patients don't have to look at a dumpster in our dumpster bay. Like there's just all those little things that you really need to just kind of hyper focus on. We have our building soft washed twice a year. So there's no mold or mildew around the trim of the building. And it's just we feel that those are very important things because we take a lot of pride in that. And when you look at those aspects, it will start to funnel through the rest of your practice, and your team will be excited to work in a practice that's neat, clean, and they're like, yes, I'm part of this beautiful office.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There's a difference you mentioned too, like, it's not my trash. There's a difference between
Yeah.
blame and responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, we're not blaming, it is what it is, but to take responsibility means, "Okay, I'm throwing on a pair of gloves and picking up the trash and throwing away
Yeah.
because it's the right
It's
thing
the
to do."
absolutely it's the Disney principle. It's not our fault, but it's our problem.
Exactly,
Handle it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let you talked about something that led me to think about our Facebook because all of this is it doesn't, people don't know how good our dentistry is. They don't know
Yeah.
what's happening inside the mouth, but they think they know by the experience, what it looks like on the
Yeah.
outside when they arrive. Let's talk about I said Facebook, but what I mean is website. Let's talk about our website. Let's
Yeah.
talk about what's your thoughts on that? I know that you work with great marketing company website reviews.
Yeah. Website, how many practices do you search and you see a website that's old and dilapidated?
Mm. Mhm. Yeah.
Other services. You know how many times before we updated our website, people are like, I didn't know you did that. We're a full service practice. They're like, I didn't know you did Crown and Bridge. I'm like, gosh, like we have to preach it to our potential patients. We have to be proud of what we do. We can't assume patients are just going to click on our website and know what's going on. So we actually went in and revamped both of our websites. Our pedo practice is super fun, because it's all underwater and kids themed. And on this side though, it's like, why do I need a cleaning? What's important? We put important questions of what is a crown? How does that work? And start putting things in there of like, these are all the services we rendered, but this is why if you get one, diagnosed, this is why you probably need it and what happens and what the process is. We let them know about our doctors and their families and what they love to do. And we constantly keep that updated. And if you can't keep a certain area updated, honestly, like remove it from the page. Like our team page is so large. For a while, we didn't have it up until I knew it was going to be perfect because I'm like, I'd rather have a completely finished, beautiful page or not one at all. So you make decisions on what's going to promote your practice the
I'm
best.
gonna warn you know this, right? As soon as you put your team page up, what's gonna happen, right? Someone's gonna
What's
say they're pregnant, they gotta leave, they're
Yep, yep,
moving.
yep.
Like, it always happens. As soon as we get
Yes,
all the team page ready,
yes,
somebody is
yes.
there's
Yeah, and that was part of the hassle is it's always a moving target and, coordinating with the website company to update it. It's just another thing to do, right? So it's like, but I wanted to make sure that everybody that's listening to this, look at your website and say, am I super proud of this? And you might not be, and that's okay. But that means you can do something about it and you can improve it. And there's many companies out there that can just give you a free evaluation. Like they're not even going to charge you. They'll just look at it and say, this is what I would change. If you want to do it, we can do it for you, or you can suggest this to your current website or marketing agency. And that's a valuable tool. Utilize it. If they're offering it, use it
exactly.
because it's always good to have a third party looking at what you built.
And I would add to that, you don't even need to pay a company. If you just wanna do a little tweaks or whatever, you can go onto ChatGPT. There's custom GPTs that are marketing GPTs, and you could put your website in and say, "Give me some feedback on this website,"
Yeah.
changes to it.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah.
that's
And
another
yeah, you just told me about that recently of all the different ones that GPTs you can use, and I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing. This is amazing. So yes, there are so many tools out there, and so many that you can get answers right away, which is awesome. I mean, we could go on and on with that. Like you said, with the chairs rocking or your autoclave is giving you this error code, throw it in there and ask what it means, and figure out if it's something you can fix or if you need to send it out for repair. With your marketing strategy, I mean, we've utilized Energize Group in our office this past year. We're still currently using them, and the reason we finally started using a marketing agency is we found our practice was at this kind of plateau. And in my opinion, we've done everything in our means. We've invested in every school. So let me backtrack really quick as kind of a squirrel moment. With the schools, we actually went into the schools and bought refrigerators for all the teachers' lounges. We bought
wow.
the ones that didn't have them, we bought them for them. The ones that did, we replaced them with a newer one that, because schools, the county or the cities don't typically invest in the teachers enough. So we find ways to invest in the teachers. So every holiday season, we send gift cards to the teachers for raffles. We send all that fun stuff. We buy their faculty shirts. We buy those for the local schools here for all their faculties. Just say, hey, send us the bill, get what you want, and send us the bill. We don't dictate, and it costs you a couple $1,000s. But let me tell you, every person that comes through, do you know a good dentist? Satellite Family Dentistry, Beachside Smiles, like they're always coming that way. But what we found, so we've utilized that with all of our events and sports teams. We sponsor all the sports teams locally. But you find yourself, okay, we've done everything in our power. And then we just kind of saw a flat line, one year. We saw a little bit of growth, but it was only like 2%. Whereas every other year we've seen about 18% growth. We're like, okay, how do we hit our next levels now? And so we're like, we need to integrate some sort of marketing that's not us, SEO, Meta, Google, all that. And we found Energize Group, and now we've seen a massive increase of like 1.4 million in production this year that we're pacing at from last year because of hitting that next level. You get to that point, it's really hard to go up if you've utilized every one of your skills. You just got to start looking outside the box. And a lot of people get stuck because you go from $0 marketing budget to say you're spending $10,000 a month in marketing. You're like, that's too much money. But when you start looking at the return of what you're infiltrating and getting very specific with it, I mean, we're making 10 times that every single month because of what we're reciprocating. So you do have to start changing your mindset a little bit of like, okay, now I got to start investing in my marketing strategy. Continue doing what you're doing because that's still just as important. But now we got to add this on top to get to the next level if that's what your goal is to grow.
I love that, and, Energize is a great company, and what I love about them is that they're data driven. And
Yes.
I'm gonna add some old school wisdom here. So in the last 20 years I've been in dentistry, marketing companies are the number one thing that we turn over in the dental office because dentists, they put money into it. They don't see the new patients increasing ROI. They don't understand SEO or any of that. And so 3 months in, they cancel and move on to the next one. Part of the reason I started training phone skills at Front Office Rocks was because they were blaming the marketing companies when I'm like, it's the people on the front desk. That being said, with AI, and I keep wanting to bring old school into AI now. AI can help you as a dentist or office manager or PR person or whatever, know what these things are these marketing companies are doing to be able to have educated conversations because dentists went to dental school to be dentists. They aren't marketing specialists. But if we work
Hmm.
with the right companies like Energize, and there's plenty of other ones in our industry that are amazing, and
Yeah.
you can actually understand what they're supposed to be doing, and you can collaborate with them, and you can coordinate, and you can make a game plan together and use AI as your back pocket tool to understand how marketing should work, then it makes a lot more sense to invest in the marketing and grow your practice that way.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
So the
Yeah.
other thing is, and I don't know if you know this or not, but we're gonna kind of full all the way to the end of this with marketing is you mentioned SEO. We know we wanna get on, like, page 1. I think there's statistics out there to say people don't go past page 2 on when they're
Yeah.
searching for but now there's also a lot having to do with AI and how
Mhm.
AI because people are starting to ask ChatGPT questions versus going on Safari or Google and answering that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned FAQs. I know that's a big thing to make
Yes.
sure that you're listing every procedure you do and describe it. Do you know anything else in this area when it comes to marketing or working with, Energize right now on that?
Honestly, no.
Okay, good. Then
I
that
kind of
sounds
let
like a
them
good
take the
dog.
handle. Yeah, they I let them take the handle on that and do the research on the back end, but like you said, they're data driven. They're the only marketing agency that's certified by Dental Intelligence with their information of actually giving you true ROI on what you're bringing in the practice. They can show you improve the dollars that are coming into your practice, which I think is super important. But big thing like you said though is like when you're looking at either offering new procedures or you have current procedures that you're offering, if you're sending people to your website and you don't have them listed, you're kicking yourself in the butt. Like you're not giving them anything. You're telling them suck at marketing myself because I'm not even telling you what I do. So you need to get your team. So when we're doing all this too, get your team on board and excited about everything that you offer. So when they're talking about it, because a lot of times in office, patients like, oh, you guys do Invisalign or oh, you guys do bleaching. So if we start marketing and start giving this out to patients and telling the world like we love dentistry, we give you whitening, we give you ortho, we do crown and bridge, we do full mouth rehab. Like tell them, get your team telling them. We utilize our team in our videos so that they know who they're coming in and talking to rather than just static videos or somebody that we hired a voiceover that's not us. And we've seen that be a major help. But then we also use AI to build ads to just make it, better verbiage. Look at this image. Does this dictate what we're trying to actually bring across the board?
I love it. I love it. Well, great. On that note, then, I'm going to be bringing more and more people on here to talk about AI. So I'm going to bring on some Energize, some marketing companies to talk about AI. I will do a thing on how to do custom GPTs. If you have questions for Zach or I, you can put it in the comments below. And Zach has a group. Tell us about your group and where they
Yeah.
can go if you want to ask questions there.
Yes, go to Dental Office Manager Leadership Network on Facebook or dentalomleadershipnetwork.com. Both of those will drive you right to the group. It's an open forum, free to join, tons of great resources, and I'm actually getting ready to drop a bunch in this week. So look for those and look forward to seeing you in the group.
I love that. I just saw you put a post where you ask people in the group, "What do you need? What do you need?"
Yep.
So that's what we're here
Yep.
for. So, I
Absolutely.
appreciate it, and we will
Thanks, Laura.
next time jump into operations in the office. So this was fun. Thanks for,
All
meeting
right.
with me today.
Thanks, Laura. It's always a pleasure.